knows how many Z's it takes to spell Brazelton. J.P. Shadrick.
It's at least one, and welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, and we're in Flowery Branch, just up the road from Brazelton, Georgia, at the Atlanta Falcons facility. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman after the second day of Jaguars-Falcons joint practices. Preseason Week 3 coming up this Saturday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta. The Jags and the Falcons coming up. We'll discuss the Jaguars' playing time, or at least the idea for most of the starters to not play in the game, with Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman. Then at 5 o'clock, the Doug Pederson Show. We'll hear plenty from the head coach from earlier this week, including earlier today. And here we are, Logs. I don't know if I've seen a flowery branch since we've been in Flowery Branch. Maybe that crepe myrtle behind us here might be about as close as we get. But how are you? What's up?
I'm doing good, and this part of Georgia is awesome. I mean, it's beautiful. It's got rolling hills. The weather's been perfect for 2 days of practice because, this time of year up here it can be extremely hot. And from the player standpoint, you couldn't have asked for better. Overcast skies with the threat of rain, but it really never did rain. Perfect situation. And the best part about the 2 days as a whole, JP, great work against an opponent that or that is a different look for your offense and your defense, and there was no fisticuffs or any extracurricular stuff that can distract from the entire goal of the whole thing, which is just getting better.
The Falcons practiced last week against the New York Jets up there, and now their second week in a row where they've had another team to go against. And that was the stated goal of Doug Pederson, talking to his team. Hey, we're not going to do any of that stuff. We're here to get some work done. They've got some guys coming back on the field off injuries this week, so that was a key to get those guys some work, keep those guys healthy, obviously, and then move forward into preseason Week 3.
Well, and look, the Falcons had plenty of skirmishes when they were practicing with the Jets up in New York, and that's appreciate the direction of the head coach Doug Pederson, making sure that the focus on where it needs to be. You want it to be high intensity. I mean, that's the whole reason why you come and practice against a different team, because when you're at home practicing against, let's say, me and you see each other all the time, right? And so the familiarity that wouldn't make me particularly angry or raise my level of play against you.
I mean, because I'm always dominating. That's why.
That's
part of it. I
mean,
sure.
But my point is that, the intensity naturally goes up when you face another team and in practice. Yeah. And the other thing is that there's a crowd here. I mean, it wasn't packed, but the Falcons allowed some people in. And so when people are watching, the natural thing is that you want to make sure that your performance is good. And so the intensity goes up, the focus goes up, the concentration goes up. I mean, all of those things, and I think it makes for a better practice. And also because you're facing – for example, look, if I'm a pass rusher and I'm facing Cam Robinson every day in practice, I'm Josh Allen or Trayvon Walker, I'm only facing Cam Robinson. I'm not facing a tackle that may have a different technique, that may have a different body type. And so some moves that work against Cam may not work against, somebody else. And so you want to have the opportunity to do different things. And so it just gives you a different flavor and a different level of intensity. And it is very productive in my opinion. And when I was a young player, we used to do it nearly every year, whether it was with the Philadelphia Eagles or the Washington Redskins. And, of course, that's what was their name at that time. And it was great work. I loved it.
That's Jeff Lageman. I'm J.P. Shadrick. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on 1010XL 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're on Twitter at J.P. Shadrick, at Logs56. The right tackle competition, well, it's been hot for a while. It continued with the practices here in Flowery Branch yesterday and today. Doug Pederson this morning before practice, this afternoon, it was an afternoon practice, was asked about the right tackle position and where it stands heading into this weekend. We'll hear from Doug Pederson coming up. But, it continues. They alternated pretty much series yesterday Did a little of that today, and Doug Pederson said, hey, they're going to play in the game on Saturday.
Well, Walker Little did not finish practice today. He was off to the side and he was working with Will Richardson, who has a high ankle, I believe it is, or an ankle injury of some kind.
Yeah.
And so Walker Little is hurt. Now,
that changes.
I think they expect him to maybe be able to play in a couple days. They were just, I think, taking him out for precautionary reasons. But I think that position battle is over. I do. I think Juwan Taylor is the guy. And Walker Little had a great opportunity. I mean, a great opportunity. Coming off the Hall of Fame game, which he played very well, he had a great opportunity to supplant Juwan Taylor with another strong performance the next week against Cleveland. Well, it didn't happen. And then his past game, he didn't have a very strong game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then here against the Atlanta Falcons, he's had some moments that weren't good. Not today because, like I said, he didn't finish practice. But yesterday weren't particularly good. And so it's disappointing that because I expected Walker Little to compete at a higher level for that job to make it really hard for the coaches, if not to supplant Juwan Taylor, and it didn't happen.
All right, so not the end of the world, though. He's still on the football team. He's still an important piece to what this team can do if it's truly a done deal.
The best thing about this whole competition is that you've made that position better. Okay, whether it's Juwan Taylor that's won it or if it ended up being Walker Little, both of those guys have raised the level of play of that position. And the reality is that you'd love to have a Juwan Taylor that was self-motivated to get better over the last couple of years, but the reality is he didn't have any competition, and sometimes you got to have a little push to get better. And I think this year was really good for Juwan Taylor. And he knew that he had to get better. He's got a new offensive line coach. I thought his performances have gotten better. There's still some things that Juwan needs to clean up. You know, the penalties are always an issue and have been an issue with Juwan. Those need to get cleaned up.
Sure.
And the reality is that the competition is never officially over. Okay, so if Juwan Taylor goes out in week 1 in Washington and doesn't play well, guess what happens?
That's right.
I mean, it depends on how level that of not playing well reaches, but if he doesn't play well, he won't keep that job. But Walker Little has got to get better. And he had a good week, like I said, the first week, but he didn't build upon it, and it's a lost opportunity on his part, and it's part of the growth process. Now, he hadn't played a lot of football in a long time either.
Let's continue in the offensive line. We'll have some defensive talk coming up. Devin Lloyd back on the practice field and spoke with Ashland Sullivan yesterday. We'll hear from him a little bit later. We stay on the offensive line, though, and that left guard position. Ben Barch, the last week or so has really been taking some reps there, but there's a new man that has come in from a trade from the Green Bay Packers. Cole Van Lanen has arrived. What have you seen out of him so far? Has he stood out at all the first couple days after planes, trains, and automobiles to get here?
Well, first off, you got to give him some credit because he gets traded and then very little sleep, gets on a plane and gets here and then essentially does a physical early in the morning and out to practice you go, okay? And when you're in that type of situation, it's your new equipment, you probably got new cleats. I mean, it's very different and you're not comfortable. Because I'm sure that he didn't travel with all of his Green Bay equipment, right?
Yeah.
But Colt Van Lanen was a 7th-round pick last year of the Green Bay Packers, I believe it was, or late-round pick last year. The Jaguars reportedly gave up a 7th-round pick for him. And today in practice, I watched the offense more today. He worked mostly at right guard. I expect him at some point to maybe even have an opportunity to play left guard. And if Ben Barch is not playing at a certain level, then look, Cole Van Lanen will have an opportunity to compete at that left guard spot. But I like him. At college, he was a left tackle, and a pretty good one. And he's a guard in the NFL, though. They look at him as the mindset for him is, look, he's a guard and maybe in a pinch can play some right tackle for you, not left tackle. And when you trade for a guy at this point and you give up a draft pick, you can pretty much say he's on the roster.
Yeah, he pretty much cinches it.
You're not giving a draft pick up for a guy that joins you for 1 week. You're not doing that.
No.
They got confidence in him. They obviously have liked his film and have been following him, and when given the opportunity to trade for him, they did. And guard has been a little bit of concern for them because, Shatley can play guard, but he's not a natural guard. Darius Williams has kind of been a journeyman. Nick Ford's a young player that probably can end up on practice squad, but you'd like to have a little bit more depth there, and now they got it.
The guy in the middle of that offensive line is a rookie, and we tend to forget that, I think, here in training camp. And Luke Fortner, draft pick this year, who obviously came in with, 3 different degrees out of college. He's got his head on his shoulders, but his play is really kind of stepping up to that as well, Logs, feels like.
Anytime you talk about an offensive lineman and it's not talking about him because he's been making mistakes or he's been getting beat, sometimes you can take it for granted that the performance is where it's at. And look, I love the performance of Luke Fortner. I think he's outplaying his draft status right now. When he's playing, he's confident, he's aware, he's physical, he's getting to the second level to the linebackers. He moves very well for a center. There's a lot of things to like. If you had to do a redraft, I think you'd probably end up picking him in the second round instead of the first pick the Jaguars had in the third round. That's how good I think he's been.
Wow.
I mean, he literally he does not look like a rookie. And then I was showing JP, we get this iPad film stuff
here. It's high tech.
And we were looking at a play that happened yesterday, and he's got a defensive tackle that shades on his nose to the opposite side, a blitzing linebacker, and he helps out the guard on the other side, and then helps out the Dan Arnold, who was lined up as a fullback kind of thing. And it's like, wow. I mean, the awareness and the calmness of his play is impressive for a rookie.
He got his hands on 3 guys on one play.
He did, 3 guys.
It was pretty cool.
3 guys, impressive.
So that's a good start for him. We've got plenty ahead on Jaguars Happy Hour. We'll come back in just a moment and hear from Devin Lloyd. He's been back on the practice field this week and in good spirits. A little Trevor Lawrence conversation coming up down the road as well. And then at 5 o'clock is the Doug Pederson Show. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. This is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Land Rover Defender story began with the simple thought of creating an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle, becoming the go-anywhere, do-anything all-terrain machine. Today, there's a new Land Rover Defender, the toughest and most advanced Land Rover vehicle ever. From the beginning, Land Rover knew the new Defender was capable of great things. Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year is just the latest example. Test drive the new Land Rover Defender today at Land Rover Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, or go to LandRoverJacksonville.com. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the print services you need for your business. Need large banners and signs for your next promotional event? How about custom boxes to advertise your company fleet? Find out for yourself how Kessler Creative can help you stand out from the competition with eye-catching designs that are sure to impress your customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm just building it back up. Slowly, they're trying to ease me into the practices and limiting my reps. But it feels really good. It's strong. It's building strength back up. It's really sore right now, as expected. But I'll be ready to go week one.
That is Devin Lloyd, the Jaguars linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Devin visiting with Ashlyn Sullivan yesterday after practice in the atrium of the team hotel. A little sore, but, hey, he was back out there today. And Doug Pederson said, hey, get ready, 33. You're going in the game on Saturday against the Falcons for about a quarter maybe.
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit ago, and he said that I asked him how the hamstring was doing. He said it was good, and he said that he's working his way in as far as the mental aspect of it, but he didn't feel like that it was overwhelming. So, I mean, that's a real positive, because sometimes the mental part of it can be overwhelming. But from what I understand and everything that has been scouted about Devin Lloyd, the intangibles and the mental acuity is incredible. And so I think he's going to be just fine. But the problem is that you need reps. Okay,
you got to play.
And until you get those reps, you're going to be a little bit behind, and that's just natural. So he will play, and I think the expectation is to play about a quarter with him. And but I still believe when they go to the first game of the season, he may not be in the starting lineup.
Okay.
It may be a situation where they have certain packages ready for him to gradually increase his exposure, because Chad Muma and Shaq Quarterman have more reps. And so there's a trust factor built in with the guys that have had reps. But let me add to this, in that, watching Devin Lloyd a little bit in practice, he's got some of the things that the other guys just can't do.
I was going to say, if he's got those intangibles, some things that they can't,
got the
compete,
physical skills.
You got to put him out there.
Well, you do, but
right?
you can't expect him. And I know he said he would be ready for the opening game, but to what level? And I think that's a question that the coaches are going to have to manage, as far as the number of snaps that he gets, and also the total number of plays that he gets exposed to from a defensive standpoint.
Saw him out here for 2 days. We haven't seen him, of course, in training camp. Really, some individual period stuff the last week or so. But seeing him out here the last 2 days, what stands out the most about his play?
Devin?
Yeah.
He's just athletic. His athleticism is off the chart. I mean, seriously, from a blitz standpoint, how slippery he is, how he runs, how he moves. When you watch Chad Muma, they're just two different type of players. I mean, Chad's like the old, 3-4 big linebacker, and he moves kind of like a linebacker a little bit. Whereas Devin Lloyd, he almost, when he moves, it's like, is he a running back, a wide receiver? Yeah. I mean, he's just so fluid, and that's fun to watch, because there's not many guys that have that fluidity to them at that position. And I would say that he is a total new breed linebacker of what the NFL game has become, because the NFL has become 65+% of 3 wide receiver sets and nickel defense. And you need a linebacker that can run and play in space. That's Devin Lloyd. But he can do more than that. He can blitz.
Yes,
he can pass rush. Mm-hmm. And it's fun to watch him. And so I'm anxious and looking forward to seeing his first action on Saturday afternoon.
He had more sacks last season than Trayvon Walker did. That's how they used him at Utah. He's all around the football. He's making impact plays. He's blitzing. He's intercepting the ball, taking 2 for touchdowns. I mean, he's always there.
Yeah, he does.
Like.
You know, he feels he's a stat filler. You know, every category of stats that you can have as a defensive player, Devin Lloyd is going to have a number in every one. He's not going to be without interceptions or without sacks or without TFLs, tackle for losses. I know you didn't know that.
Well, thanks, Logs.
Trying to be,
appreciate the
dumb it down a little bit for you, JP.
Always come to you to learn football.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Thanks.
I mean that's kind of how the type of player that he is, and so I look forward to seeing him play. Also, just a little note here, some of the linebackers that the Jaguars have. I mean, first of all, we know that Trayvon Walker is just a giant. Mm-hmm. You see him and you see Josh Allen. And by the way, Josh Allen, we talked to him a little bit last night. Thank you very much, Josh. He actually bought us a little something.
Yeah, that was nice.
And
he's in a good place.
But he's such a wonderful guy, and it's great to interact with him. And I asked him how much he was weighing, and he's 260 pounds now, and that's as big as he's ever been. And he looks great. And Josh has done a great job of taking a lot of these guys under his wings, including Trayvon Walker and other guys. But the number of Georgia players that are on these two teams, I mean, it's a pretty good number of them. And we always are amazed at how big like a guy like Trayvon Walker is. And then I was watching the end of practice yesterday, and you know where I'm going with this, and Trayvon was hanging out with one of these guys from the Falcons, and I'm like, oh my God,
who's that guy?
Yeah, I mean, that guy looks like a bodybuilder, right? I mean, he's all muscled up and big. I mean, tall. It's like, holy cow! And today I figured it out, and it's Lorenzo Carter, I guess it was. He's a fifth-year player out of Georgia, and I mean, I'm talking a big dude. And so the Georgia guys were all kind of hanging out, bonding a little bit. Of course, Tyson Campbell's in that mix, but good to see.
This is Jaguars Happy Hour. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, the Doug Pederson Show coming up at 5 o'clock. Staying on linebackers, another guy who has spent his entire professional career in the state of Georgia until this year. He's now with Jacksonville. It's Foye Oluokun. He was with the Atlanta Falcons, of course, spoke with the media here after practice today. You can catch that on Jaguars.com. And a guy who built his reputation over the years, different roles, and then finally the last couple of years was a regular starter. We know the numbers in his last year in Atlanta. So there are a lot of people excited to see him back around here today after what he did the last couple of years for the Falcons.
Well, and you can tell that, look, the Falcons would have loved to have kept him, I think, but the salary cap, you got to make some hard decisions, and the Falcons had to and chose to address some of their cap issues head on. They would take their lumps and then continue to build this roster with a new general manager and head coach in place for a very short period of time. That's Terry Fontenot, the general manager, and Arthur Smith, the head coach. But it was cool, and that after Foye Oluokun got done with the interview here that you can see on Jaguars.com, he did an interview with one of the local Atlanta TV stations, and as he was doing the interview, there goes Arthur Smith, and he's like, talking to Foye while he's doing the interview, and it's, and it's all healthy banter, and you could just tell the love for Foye Oluokun here in Atlanta, and the type of person he is, type of player that he was for the Atlanta Falcons, and that's good to see because that's the kind of person that you were hoping you were going to get, and that's, I think, exactly what you got.
Signed autographs right behind our tent here. There were a few fans hanging out today and went over after his work.
And his adjustment period, I mean, look, the Jaguars have a new scheme, and so there's an adjustment period for him. And the adjustment hasn't been flawless, without some mistakes. And the Cleveland game, he got a bootleg there first play of the game, kind of mistake there. And so there's an adjustment period, and I expect that Foye, just like most veteran players, he will pick it up, but he's not a perfect linebacker ready to go ahead and just be a great player right out of the gate. I think there's going to be an adjustment period with him as well, learning the new system.
Well, they're counting on him kind of being that rock in the middle that keeps everybody on the same page.
In a perfect world, JP, you would have with a new coordinator, you would love to have somebody that came from his program that knew the system, that would not have a big adjustment with that system, that can actually help be the coach on the field.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And at some point, Foye will get to that point. Look, he's a smart guy, and he went to Yale. He didn't go to Alabama. So, he's an educated guy, and he's smart, and he's going to get it quick. So that's a real positive.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him, that Ivy League degree.
Well, shot at
That's
Alabama.
great. Yeah, I heard. That's Jeff Lageman. I'm J.P. Shadrick. All right, so you mentioned Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen. The question now is, how many of those outside guys do they keep? What do they keep? Who do they keep on this roster? That's something we're going to have to watch in this game on Saturday against the Falcons. How deep do they go? What's your we're not cutting the team today, but we're talking about it.
Well, we're getting to that point. I mean, it's
getting close.
Look, when you're getting ready to play the last preseason game, I mean, roster prediction is one of the topics that everybody wants to talk about.
Because they cut it on Tuesday officially. Tuesday down to 53.
And I think that's an interesting watch. We're talking about outside linebacker. And outside linebacker is going to be interesting from the standpoint of, we know that Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker are going to be there, and I expect Kayvon Chazon, well, that's a conversation in itself, but I expect him to be on the roster as well. And then once you get beyond that, I think like a Deshaun Dixon is a guy that's going to end up on the practice squad.
Okay.
But now you're talking who's next, okay? And from the standpoint of evaluating the preseason games, Jameer Jones has probably had the next best performance.
Number 40 if you're watching on TV.
Correct.
Yes.
And his mom or family member must have been here because you don't get a 40 Jaguars jersey here in Atlanta at practice unless somebody's family, right?
I guess.
But, the thing that you have to factor in is that Dwan Smoot and Arden Key can also have the positional flexibility to play as an outside linebacker. So are you counting on them to help you out at that outside linebacker position, maybe therefore being a little bit heavier at a different position? So that's, I think, is going to be an interesting watch.
Plenty ahead on Jaguars Happy Hour. We'll come back and discuss the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, how his week has gone.
Now, I've been watching him for the last 30 minutes, and looking better.
We're going to get some answers
looking better
about his practices here about an hour's drive away from his hometown. Jaguars Game Day Radio is brought to you by ViStar Credit Union. Do good, bank better. This is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Ready, set, go. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Ford dealer. Get going in a new Ford SUV or truck. Inventory is arriving daily, so get ready for the best offers of the summer on in-stock Ford vehicles. Or go custom order a 2023 Ford and lock in low financing and get big cash back. You've waited for these deals, and the wait is over. Ready, set, go to the Labor Day sales event, now through September 5th. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bono's is currently expanding its brand with franchise opportunities throughout the Southeast and beyond. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit barbecue and owning your own business are a great combo. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates Frequent Shopper Clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty. Offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Jacksonville Sports Talk for Jacksonville sports fans. 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, it was great just getting to go up against a different team. You know, we're so used to going against our guys. You see the same looks, but also a lot of different stuff. You know, defense experiment and stuff on you. Then to come out here and really not do a whole lot of prep because you're coming here to just get some work in and just see different, you know, structures and all that, and have to adjust on the fly. You know, we have our base rules, but really putting them to the test and really challenges us just to communicate, especially up front, and then all the skill group and making sure we're on the same page, seeing a bunch of different coverages than we're used to from our defense. So it's good, you know, it challenges you. I thought we had a great day today. I thought we brought a lot of intensity and looked sharp, so it was good.
That's Trevor Lawrence, Jaguars quarterback, yesterday after practice. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. We're at the Atlanta Falcons facility in Flowery Branch, Georgia. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, our entire crew here on site and back in Jacksonville. And we'll have the Doug Pederson Show at 5 o'clock today as well from right here in this very same parking lot.
In a tent.
Sitting in right now.
We're in a tent with folding chairs that are not very comfortable, by the
way. Hey, it's part of it. It's training camp. It's almost over, and now it's on to the regular season here very soon. So the quarterback there. All right, so I do these interviews, and I keep getting asked, you know, what's Trevor Lawrence look like? How's he?
Looks like Trevor Lawrence.
Can he overcome all of last year and all these things? I think he's past all that. How's he look to you in general in this training camp before we get to the last 2 days?
Well, like he's adjusting like a young quarterback, and then he's got moments that you go, well, that's pretty good. And then you have moments you go, you know, you got to be faster with your eyes, or, hey, you got to be more accurate with the ball. But the nice thing with Trevor is that the command of the offense is there. You don't ever have issues with snap counts, false starts, you know, having to start the play over because somebody's not lining up right. He's directing the traffic and very aware of what the system is, but the experience of being in the system, you can tell, is not quite there yet. Yeah. Sometimes he's late with his eyes. Doug talked about that in the pregame interview with you last week, JP, about he wanted to have his eyes speed up a little bit.
Did you see that in the game?
I thought that there were moments that his eyes still needed to be sped up, but that's what you're working for. I mean, look, you're not a final product, you know, going into or finishing out of 3 preseason games. It takes time. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that were fortunate to have the same system for a very long period of time, and they were great quarterbacks. And hopefully, Trevor can have the same type of success. But you've got to get him comfortable in the system, and then also the coaches need to get comfortable from a standpoint of knowing what he does best, and that's a whole process in and of itself. And I like the way he's working. He continues to work. I thought that so far from what I've seen, because yesterday I watched mostly the defensive side of the ball, and they're on 2 different fields, so you can't watch both and watch defense. And now I'm watching Trevor on offense, and everything that I'm seeing so far has been he's speeding it up a little bit, and that's what it takes. And the action that he got in the practice yesterday and then the action today is going to be essentially all the work that he's going to get, because we're not expecting to see many starters, if any, playing on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and he will not come close to anywhere between the lines, at least. He'll be on the sideline, of course, helping everybody out, but he will not play in that game. There are some practices next week, but obviously probably a lighter tempo, I would guess, in going into that bye week. Maybe they'll crank it up a little bit.
Look, I mean, you can still, if you're head coach Doug Pederson, you can't, and that's the thing that I like about Doug Pederson. His mindset is that you're always continuing to work to get better, and that it's a process, and that process doesn't end until, you know, we start to reach who we want to be towards the end of the season. So he realizes that every hour that he has of being able to take his team on the football field, because all of that is regulated by the collective bargaining agreement. It's not like you have a ton of opportunity. So when you have an opportunity to put them in pads and to get work done, even though that you're getting ready to play your last preseason game, doesn't mean that you stop the work. I mean, it means that you maybe dial some things back, but and Doug also talked about that because you got the 2-week window between, this last game that's coming up and then the opener, that they will use that opportunity to look at their first 3 opponents as a whole.
Yeah.
But you still continue to work your craft, your techniques, and your assignment awareness of the system. So, I mean, that doesn't stop.
It's Jaguars Happy Hour. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. Well, this quarterback conversation leads into this weekend's game, this Saturday's game against the Falcons. Well, C.J. Beathard, as you said in the broadcast last week on radio, just didn't look totally right when he was running around. Wasn't healthy. Doug Pederson then addressed that earlier this week, said the same thing. Jake Luton is back in the fold now. He and Perry will most likely split the time Saturday against the Falcons.
Yeah, because they're going to hold C.J. Beathard out because they want to allow him to continue to get better. And that's a concern a little bit now. I mean, look, the reality is if you don't have your starting quarterback, you're not going to be very good anyway.
In most instances, this head coach won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback.
I know, but JP, in most cases, that's why I said
if anybody would know the importance of a backup quarterback, it's Doug Pederson. But he was one, and he won a Super Bowl with
one. But it's disappointing from the standpoint of, okay, you already have, you got 2 running backs that are coming back from an injury, and now you got a backup quarterback coming back from an injury, and you'd like to have C.J. Beathard showing the coaches what he can do to earn the trust, their trust. Yep. And when we saw him against Pittsburgh, when he broke out of that pocket, it was like, that's not healthy. And he had a pretty good, I guess, a groin strain going back to the very end of the OTA, minicamp, whatever it was. And we're talking about, once you get to the opener, that's about 3 months. 3 months is a long time to have an injury to continue to linger. So my question is, a lot of people may assume that, okay, well, they brought Jake Luton back just so that he could get through this game with another quarterback. Well, is that the case?
Might be longer than that.
Or are they worried maybe about the health of C.J. Beathard going into the regular season? Are they worried about his performance? I don't know. I mean, but these are all valid questions, I think, when you have a guy that's not healthy. And then if you're running this football team or coaching this football team, then you have to make sure that you're doing what's best for the football team and not what's best for C.J. Beathard. So that's something just to watch. And maybe he can be completely healthy and be ready to go for the season opener. But you have to prepare like he may not be based upon what you saw against Pittsburgh, and he's not playing this week. You might have to prepare for something else.
We just had a military flyby here in Flowery Branch, I think. Some helicopters flying by for Jaguars Happy Hour. Glad you're along with us today. And time now for the injury report presented by Baptist Health and the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll note 3 names today. Foley Fatukasi had the calf issue last preseason game. He's been off to the side. I talked to him coming off today briefly. I said, how you doing? He's like, we're getting there. And he expects to be ready, he said, for the opener. But that is a little bit of a concern.
Well, and the reason that you're concerned, I think he's your best defensive lineman. I mean, you brought him in to have a big role, and he's going to be one of those big, powerful guys that can stop the run but also give you some push of the pocket. And from a pass rush standpoint, he can play an end. He can play the nose in this defense. And you really don't have a whole lot of depth there. I think that's a position that the Jaguars will watch closely once the cuts start to come in. Maybe picking up, whether it's a veteran guy or maybe a young guy that they feel good about. Because you don't – I mean, look, JP, the reality is Foley Fatukasi, Devon Hamilton, and Roy Robertson Harris are your starting guys. Who's your next big guy that you really trust?
Oof, yeah.
I mean, probably
down in, down out basis, right?
Probably Gotsis, just because he's been around a little bit and he's a veteran player. But then, do you have anything that you feel really good about other than that? I mean, Jay Tufele, I mean, look, second-year player, was a fourth-round pick last year, has been kind of nondescript, unimpressive.
I mean, we've mentioned earlier Smoot and Key and those guys can kind of go in there, but they're not that type of player.
Yeah, they're not them.
No.
Those big guys, the immovable objects, or the guys that can really kind of control the line of scrimmage. And so if you can find another one of those guys, that would be nice. And you're going to have to probably look elsewhere because I don't think you have it on the roster right now. And so the Fadakazi thing, if he can't go, now you're really thin at that position. And then now it's like, okay, I'm not saying you start panicking, but you start to go, we need to get serious and we need to find somebody that can fill that role.
Another name on the list, Will Richardson Jr., off to the side still. You mentioned, he's been out for a little bit now with, an ankle issue. So we'll see how long that lasts for him. He's been around here for a while. And then James Robinson still working his way back, getting time in team 11-on-11 activity even here in Atlanta. But still has that orange jersey on. They've been trying to take it easy with him. The Falcons even keeping clear for the most part of him.
He had a yellow jersey on today.
Different.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
I don't know what that means.
Well,
all these colors, all these designations.
Red typically, I mean, think about it. It's like stoplight. Red means stop, don't hit, don't touch. Okay, off limits. Yellow means just be cautious. Okay, when you're approaching them seriously, because you could tell that the practice yesterday was a little different than the practice today. Yesterday he was kind of, a little bit, stay away from him. But anyway, I think he's going to be ready for the opener. Is he going to be the 100% James Robinson of old? I don't think so, but I think he can still be pretty good. And this is and he's at the point now, I think, in the rehab process to where now you just need to play. And now when you play, you're going to continue to get better and then accomplish, because if you try to put a number on the percentage that he is, I mean, if I had to do it, I'd say in the 90s somewhere. And so the last numbers of percent, how do you reach that? And I'll give you something similar. When I had my ACL going back into the year 1992, coming back the next year, sometimes you had to think about making that part of your body move, and so you're consciously trying to get pieces to work naturally, but it wasn't something that just happened. And then so you start to play, and now you're working through the process, and all of a sudden, a month into it, I was like, you know what, I'm not even thinking about it, and everything's working better now. So it's and I think that's going to be the thing for James, and hopefully he can be available, because I think there's a little bit of a concern for depth at the running back position. And the good thing is that when he comes back, it's not like you're going to be expecting him to carry the load and carry it 20, 25 times a game. You got Travis Etienne that's going to be sharing that load.
That sounds to me like a position where they could exercise that waiver position as well.
Yeah, they could.
If somebody falls free.
And they like Snoop Connor, because obviously he's a draft pick. To me, I think this is a little different system, I think, than what would fit him the best. Snoop Connor is a big, powerful one-cut back. This offense runs a little bit more zone where the running backs kind of stretch it and then pick the hole. And that I don't think that there's an adjustment period for Snoop Connor, and it hasn't fit him just yet. Can he work his way into it? You hope so, because you've got some draft equity in that. But right now it's just been kind of how's he look? Well, he's okay, But I mean, look at the numbers.
Oh, right.
I mean, the numbers of him rushing the football are what they are. Rock Armstead, his numbers are just kind of and Rock doesn't make a whole lot of guys miss. And Rock's had a lot of opportunity to show his wares in the first couple years of his career, and really, hasn't been able to impress anybody to where they're like, wow, this guy's pretty good. So I mean, that's something that if you're a Jaguars fan and you're a Jaguars coach, you got your fingers crossed that James Robinson and Travis Etienne are going to be available for you throughout the year.
It's a scientific designation.
Okay.
Yeah, but I knew what you meant exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
it fits perfectly.
And there's different, there's like, that's not good. Okay, and then you got, okay, not bad. And then you got, it's pretty good, right?
Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. Some final thoughts ahead of this preseason Week 3 game coming up Saturday in Atlanta. And then at 5 o'clock, the Doug Pederson Show. And if you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, Then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ready, set, go. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Ford dealer. Get going in a new Ford SUV or truck. Inventory is arriving daily, so get ready for the best offers of the summer on in-stock Ford vehicles. Or go custom order a 2023 Ford and lock in low financing and get big cash back. You've waited for these deals, and the wait is over. Ready, set, go to the Labor Day sales event, now through September 5th. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Thinking about your favorite whiskey or whiskey-based cocktail for this weekend's party or tailgate? Us too. While you're out shopping for supplies, don't forget to pick up a bottle of the 2022 Jaguars whiskey available at most local Jacksonville liquor stores. Not leaving the couch this weekend? No problem. You can also order a bottle online at citrusdistillersonline.com. Every bottle is made locally here in Duval.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bono's is currently expanding its brand with franchise opportunities throughout the Southeast and beyond. Over 70 years of authentic Southern pit barbecue and owning your own business are a great combo. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
The station that the Jaguars listen to, 1010XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman from Flowery Branch, Georgia. The home of the Atlanta Falcons facility and their training camp. A beautiful building.
What a facility.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, the original building was built years ago, and I don't remember the exact year. Maybe you can pull up the history of it, but it was the building and then the fields, and then they have this whole dorm / apartment facility on the far side that's actually on the, so I think like 50-55 acres the grounds are considered here. And they have enough housing there to literally house the entire team, coaching staff, and some other staff, which is incredible. And they actually use that for training camp, and then they try to depart the dorms completely in about mid-September, according to Team President Rich McKay, who I talked with yesterday about it. And then they expanded this facility and added more going to the west as we're looking at it. And then they built a complete indoor facility that's on a little lower level of terrain. And then they attached this medical facility thing onto that, and now they're adding a whole new digital wing, which is for all the different elements that now have become in-house broadcasting, I guess, for the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, it's quite the facility now. It's right up there with the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks have an incredible facility. All the latest and greatest facility. The arms race has reached the NFL.
Sure, and this is one of the in terms of that arms race, this is one of the older of the arms race. I mean, it's been here for almost 20 years.
Well,
right?
and this building has been constantly updated.
Oh, yeah,
I
sure.
mean, this doesn't look 20 or feel 20. Have you ever been on the inside?
I haven't yet, no.
When Mike Smith was the head coach here, I came and visited Smitty, and he gave me the tour and everything, and it was great. I mean, and it does. I mean, it looks like every year they're doing something to make sure that it's keeping up with the time, so to speak, because it is a truly incredible facility.
And I will say that it is about a 30 to 40-minute drive to the northern suburbs of Atlanta from here. You're up here a little bit. You're out here in Flowery Branch.
You probably can get to what's the town to the west of here, or excuse me, to the east of here, where the University of Georgia is at.
That'd be Athens.
Athens. You can get to Athens probably just as fast as you can to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of up here now.
It's up kind of northeast.
Yeah.
And, so there you go. But it's nice. It's kind of up out of the way, and you can just focus on business. Now, when they built here 20 years ago, there was nothing out here. It has grown up a lot since then. So there is the option, at least, to live out
I can
this
tell you,
way.
if they were thinking about building a facility somewhere in downtown Atlanta, can you imagine the number of tardies that you would have from people trying to get the facility with the Atlanta traffic being what it is?
It's tough.
Brutal.
That's a tough one.
Brutal.
At least out here, you're going opposite traffic, the whole thing. So this Saturday, you'll get to battle some of the Atlanta traffic
3 o'clock.
As you head in for a 3 o'clock kickoff at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in downtown Atlanta. The Jaguars and the Falcons preseason week number 3. Jaguar starters, for the most part, are not expected to play. As Doug Pederson said earlier this week, you might see the right tackles, and you'll probably see Devin Lloyd. Those would be about it sounds like it, for the starters.
Well, the reality of it is that this is an evaluation game. You know, I'm sure they know who their starters are. Those are the ones that probably aren't going to be playing much. But you've got some decisions to make at the back end of your roster that you need to figure out. And this game presents an opportunity not only for these players to make this team, but also to maybe make another team, because teams are always watching. The scouts are always watching. I was talking to Ethan Wan and Trent Baalke, and I actually talked to Trent today a little bit, and I said, did you get your workout in this morning? He goes, no, I'm watching film of other teams, and seeing what we think may be available. And that's what you have to do. So as the mindset, if you're a player, is that this is a great opportunity, and maybe the last opportunity for me to impress upon this staff to either make the active roster, make the practice squad, but if not, then to be able to make somebody else's roster or practice squad. And then if not that, to at least impress enough that you are on what I call the short list. And the short list is that, okay, if you don't make any of those, practice squad, active roster, here or there, or any other team, then you're on as many people's short list that if they have an injury and now they elevate somebody off a practice squad, that maybe that person could be drawn back to a practice squad to take the place of somebody else, because injuries happen in the league. So there's a lot at stake for a lot of these young men, and unfortunately their dream for some is going to end. But that's the way this league is. NFL, not for long.
Right, and
there are
some other leagues now as well. The guys can kind of stay in it.
Did you see the scouts from the other league?
XFL was here yesterday, I saw, and then that's just what CFL guys come out to these as well. I mean, there are options for other kinds of football.
Not as
obviously everybody wants to get back and play in the NFL. But the short list point is a good one for sure. Now, obviously in this game, to make a roster, especially in the bottom third of it, you're going to have to play special teams, and that will be a huge focus, I think, this weekend.
I got taught a lesson a long time ago when James Shaq Harris, who was the former general manager of the Jaguars when they drafted Matt Jones and a couple other guys, and he taught me a lesson. He said, when you're trying to figure out your 53, you have to figure out who can you get active on game day, because there's so many different roles that are out there. And I'll give you an example: running backs. Okay. Your third running back, okay, is he going to be active on game day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your third best running back is going to be active on game day?
Yeah, right?
No, because your third best running back is your third best running back. He may not be your best special teams player.
I got you, yeah.
So your third running back that's going to be active is not your third best running back. He's the best special teamer that's not the first and second running back. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're trying to keep the best players that are at each position. You're trying to keep the best players that are going to be asked to do the role on game day if they're going to be active. So for a fourth linebacker, you're not looking for a guy that might be awesome if he has to play in an event of an injury with Devin Lloyd or Muma or Lucan. You're looking for a guy that can ball out on special teams. And safety is very similar. Sometimes you may not keep the best safety, the guy that can play defense. You might keep the guy that can play safety, but he's the best guy that you got on special teams. And so special teams are a big factor because those are the decisions that you're going to make about whether that player can make this team because he's got to be able to find a way to be active on game day.
Rudy Ford is one of those guys, right?
Look, there's a couple of them at safety position now, because your top two guys, Rayshon Jenkins and then Andre Sisco, hands down, right? I mean, it's two best safeties you got. And then your next guy in might be Andrew Winger. Okay, but there's some other guys that are really good at safety. Rudy Ford, Daniel Thomas are really good special teams players. And Wingard's an excellent special teams player. So, and then also Brandon Rusnak is a guy that's very good on special teams and pretty solid at safety. That's a position I think that's going to be highly competitive and might be a little bit heavy as far as numbers go because those guys are all pretty good on special teams.
You got to be wired a little bit different to go run down the field as a gunner on the special teams unit sometimes if you're a safety like that. And, wired differently, but still have that skill set and your head about you to go execute that plan.
Well, special teams.
It's a lot of moving parts quickly.
Special teams used to be filled by the linebacking group.
Yeah.
A ton of linebackers played special teams. Yeah. Special teams has morphed. Just as the game has changed to it's more of a passing league, special teams has lost size over the last number of years because the speed component is that much more important. So your defensive backs, your wide receivers, your safeties, your running backs, those guys are all playing or have played more of a prominent role on filling out the special needs category than linebackers or tight ends have. Now, don't get me wrong. Linebacker is still a critical position for special teams, but it's changed a little bit over the last number of years. Special teams has gotten smaller and faster.
Smaller, faster, quicker. It's all about speed. Speed in the NFL.
That's where the game is at.
That's right. That's
Jeff. Everybody wants to be fast like you, JP.
Hey, not everybody can be, though. That's Jeff Lageman. I'm J.P. Shadrick. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. Coming up in just a few moments, it's the Doug Pederson Show. We'll hear plenty from the head coach. Won't be live with us this week. Those plans are in the works. Moving ahead, though, for the regular season, we'll hear from Doug Pederson throughout the week. He spoke right before the trip to Atlanta, and then he spoke again this morning and updated some of the situations, of course, after the first practice against the Falcons yesterday. The Devin Lloyd situation, the right tackle spot was of note today. So he seems like he's in a pretty good place, too. He always kind of seems like he's in a pretty good place because he's been through this before.
I love him. I love the way he handles his business. I like the way he handles the players. It's been very impressive to me, the way he has kind of controlled the narrative with his football team, how he's helped this football team heal from last year. And he's changing the mindset. He's helping build a real positive culture. I mean, there's a lot of things. I can tell you, Jaguar fans, feel good about your coach because you got a really good one. And obviously, he's been to the promised land. So you know that he can take a team there, and hopefully they can build and establish really good football players for him and his staff to coach and give them the best chance at winning.
And he's not scared to tell you that it is a process. It takes time to build an organization. They might have the frontline guys they like now, but it takes some time to work on that depth and work on a long-term plan for your organization. And he's not, he's done it before, so he's not scared to go out and tell you the way it should be built and that it should take a little bit of time.
Yeah, and I talked with him after this practice today a little bit, and he was very happy with the work that they were able to get in. And and very pleased with the progress that they've made, and that's a real good thing. I mean, you come up here to obtain some objectives, and when you do, you're like, all right, mission accomplished. Still not done, though. Still things to do.
All right, that'll do it for Jaguars Happy Hour. Coming up in less than a minute, it is the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. We'll hear plenty from the Jaguars head coach from his last couple media availabilities here in Flowery Branch, Georgia, from the Atlanta Falcons facility and training camp ahead of this preseason Week 3 game coming up Saturday. The Jaguars face the Atlanta Falcons. Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, Dave DeCandis, our entire crew back in Jacksonville as well. For Jeff Lageman, I'm J.P. Shadrick. That's it for Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Welcome to the Doug Pederson Show, brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Doug Pederson Show starts right now.
And welcome into the Doug Pederson Show from Flowery Branch, Georgia, on the site of the Atlanta Falcons training facility. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. We'll hear plenty from head coach Doug Pederson from earlier this week. Not live with us today. Plans are in the works, though, for the regular season logs. And, hey, 2 practices in the books here in Flowery Branch, Georgia. We're in the parking lot just off the practice field. We got a nice tent, nice shaded area. The bright Georgia sun is setting on what has been an eventful couple days of practice here in Atlanta.
Well, and what a great facility that this is, and the fields are outstanding. And so you couldn't have asked for a better situation, an opportunity to practice against the team prior to your last preseason game so that you don't have to play your starters to get the reps that you wanted to get. You know, these reps came in practice, and that's a real positive for your starters. And then the ultimate evaluation for your backups are always best when it's in a game environment, because that's the ultimate test. And so it's a perfect setup. You've had a couple practices, get your starters lots of reps in those practices, and then once you get to the game, the guys that you really want to evaluate, they're going to get the majority of the snaps in the game conditions, and that's what you want the evaluation for them at as well.
That's what it's about. You know who your starters are. You got to figure out the bottom part of this, who's going to play special teams, who will be your depth on this team. And
you still got to find out who the kicker is, too, by the way.
I don't remember seeing a kick the last 2 days, by the way, after he arrived. Did they have one today?
Today they did, and the new guy, let me look at his name because he was claimed off of waivers, and James McCourt.
Yes. They did have a field goal session.
He made
today.
every kick that he tried today, and he looked fantastic. But there was a transaction in Indianapolis. Just keep your eyes on this one. They released a kicker today, I guess it was, and I know that there was a lot of people that were anxiously awaiting, could the Jaguars end up, picking up one of these guys. There's 2 battles going on at kicker. One of them is in Indianapolis, the other one is Detroit. And would the Jaguars be interested in one of these 2 kickers if they were released? Well, the Indianapolis Colts lost their punter. They made a transaction and released one of their kickers, and then signed an additional punter, and this kicker's name is...
Rodrigo Blankenship won the job, and Jake Verity is the kicker that they cut.
Jake Verity, that's something to watch.
Okay, even though he made them all today. Why not? Bring him in.
JP, we're talking about practice.
It is practice. Okay. That's right. We saw that with the previous kicker.
And look, the Jaguars are and this is Verity is a young player, so the Jaguars are first in the claim order, so if they want him, they're going to have him. I mean, all I have to do is put a claim in, and they know that he's there. So then the Jaguars will retain that claim order for the top spot in the claim order, I think, 4 weeks into the season. And then at that point, they essentially reorganize the claim positioning based on current win percentage and strength of opponents and all that kind of stuff. So you got 4 weeks to take advantage of waiver claims.
But, I mean, let's
once the season starts.
I was going to say, let's take this with a grain of salt, though, right? I mean, you get a waiver claim guy. It's not going to over-the-top change your entire franchise's fortunes.
Well,
I mean, right, in theory.
look, at kicker, it could absolutely change your franchise's fortunes.
But I'm
Kickers
talking
can
about
win you games.
other position groups, right?
Well, some of them, yeah.
Maybe in time you can build those guys up to be something for your organization.
Well,
but right away, right?
Right. I mean,
is that asking a lot for a guy who just got waived?
You're probably not going to get a superstar, obviously,
Okay.
but you're going to get a guy that can help you win, and I think that's important. And if you have to continue to address the bottom of your roster to get better. I mean, any incremental way that you can get better, even at the bottom end of your roster, the better you can be as a football team. And this team will be active with the waiver wire now that especially now that they're number one in the claim order. So that's something to watch, not just at the kicker position, but other positions as well.
All right, plenty ahead on the Doug Pederson Show. We'll hear from the Jaguars head coach when we come back, and he spoke on Tuesday, of course, back in Jacksonville earlier today as well. He'll discuss the right tackle position, an update on that a little bit later as well. We are off and running. It's the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Ready, set, go. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Ford dealer. Get going in a new Ford SUV or truck. Inventory is arriving daily, so get ready for the best offers of the summer on in-stock Ford vehicles. Or go custom order a 2023 Ford and lock in low financing and get big cash back. You've waited for these deals, and the wait is over. Ready, set, go to the Labor Day sales event, now through September 5th. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
James, he's not necessarily full clear, but he's cleared to practice. We're going to increase his reps. You'll see an orange jersey on him. I spoke with Arthur, Smith this morning about that. So they'll be aware of him and just try to limit the amount of touches. Darius Williams is full go. He's been cleared, for everything. So it'll be exciting to get him out there. BT Badar is another one that's good to go. We'll try to ramp up his reps throughout the course of the week. Devon, if the week progresses, obviously in his favor and our favor, then he'll see some time in this game, and which is what we need to see.
Well, that all came true from head coach Doug Pederson. That was a press conference before the trip to Atlanta. And welcome back. It's the Doug Pederson Show. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. And, yes, some players coming back to health and getting back on the practice field. And in one instance at least, a guy getting on the practice field in team activity for the first time this week in Devin Lloyd. He mentioned the rookie linebacker, of course, out of Utah, who injured a hamstring just right before training camp, the day before in the conditioning drill. Foye Alukan today after practice said, he likes to go really hard, and he just went a little too hard that day. We got to kind of calm him down a little bit. He's excited to get back out there. I'm sure that's the case now, too.
The one thing I think you got to be smart about, especially when it comes to conditioning test, okay, you shouldn't try to break the record because, I mean, they don't keep records of the fastest time in a conditioning drill. Okay, the goal should always be just to get past it. I mean, because in reality, that they're just checking to make sure that you weren't sitting at home eating Krispy Kreme donuts and, Cheetos in your underwear on the couch watching TV all day.
Sounds pretty good, actually. Sounds pretty good. Actually, come to think of it.
Yeah, you don't need to be doing that, JP. But, I mean, so Devin Lloyd is working his way back, and it's unfortunate that he had that issue. And here's a guy that, is 100 miles an hour and probably never had to deal much with any kind of injury like that. So that's an adjustment, too, and that learning how to, what's the right way, kind of pull back on the reins a little bit and not try to do too much in the rehab process.
Darius Williams out there this week for the first time. Well, he was doing some team stuff. He had the weird jersey on the last couple weeks, but now he's full go, no weird jersey. He can go play defense.
And I think there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period for Darius Williams as well. First of all, he, like you said, he's been practicing, but with the red jersey on, which means no contact. He's not hitting anybody. But from the mechanics of understanding the scheme and responsibility and executing his techniques, the physical aspect of it, though, that hasn't been around. So he's got to get over the hurdle and probably won't do that until it gets to the regular season. That, okay, now the game is physical and it's live, and I need to learn and understand that I can take a hit. But for a veteran player, you're more confident that he can make that adjustment compared to like a young player. That's one of the reasons why Devin Lloyd is going to go into this Saturday preseason game and get some snaps. I mean, he's a rookie. He needs the reps. He needs the opportunity to get better. And then once he gets into the regular season, I think there will be a controlled way to get him on the field.
I'm interested in seeing Williams. We didn't get to see him all off season.
He's fluid. Yeah, I was talking to Ethan Waugh, who is the assistant general manager, yesterday, and I said, tell me about him. What made you guys really like him? And he said he's just so fluid and naturally athletic, and then of course he's got really nice speed. And, with us, you watch them until you lay your eyes on them and see things kind of go live. It's hard to really kind of tell. But he's definitely fluid, and he's definitely an upgrade. And the reality is, in the NFL, your nickel defense essentially now is your starting defense. That's the package that you have. The majority of the snaps is in nickel situations to where you're playing three corners and you're only playing two linebackers instead of three linebackers and two corners. So very important that they got him, that they got somebody that can play that role, and I think he's going to be a big boost to this defense. And he is, a lot of times when he first was signed, people were like, well, who's he going to play over? Is he going to play over Shaq? Is he going to play over Tyson Campbell? The reality is they're all three going
to play.
And when they are in their base package, which, nowadays seems to be the heavy package, and they only have two corners on the field, as of now it will be Shaq, Griffin, and Tyson Campbell. But Darius Williams is going to play a ton.
Who's their number one corner?
Oh, Tyson Campbell. Yeah, Tyson.
He's already stepped into that.
Yeah, I think he's proven it. He's a player on the rise. He's got good ball skills. He's physical. He's got all the tools that you want a corner to have. Is he a true shutdown corner? He's got a lot to prove to get into that category, because there's some players that have been in that category that are pretty amazing. But he's the best corner the Jaguars have, in my opinion.
And then you mentioned the safeties earlier with Rayshon Jenkins and Andre Sisco. It just feels like Sisco has been all over the place in this preseason, making some plays on the practice field in games, coming down making tackles.
Well, he's still got to prove it. We're excited about his development and the progress that he's made, but at the end of the day, he still has to prove it and prove it in a game type of situation. And so that's a little bit of a point of nervousness, I think, because you feel really good about where he's at. You feel really good about where Tyson Campbell's at, and you're kind of saying, well, he's our best corner, and boy, look at the progress Sisco's made, but we got to see it. You're just not going to anoint something or somebody without having proof. So these guys need to play well, and if this team wants to end up where it's at defensively, those two guys have to be a big boost to this defense. Just like, Josh Allen taking that step in consistency and performance and being healthy. And then Trayvon Walker being a consistent force with his team. Lageman being a steadying force, good player, Mr. Experienced middle linebacker. Devin Lloyd being that flashy guy. I mean, you got to have all these components to fill their roles.
Let's stay on defense, Logs, and get into the trenches a little bit. Foley Fatukasi's been off to the side since his calf injury against the Steelers, and still off to the side today. Of course, no plans to play him this week.
Yeah, and he was not just walking around. He wasn't doing anything.
Right.
Right? I mean, when we saw him out here yesterday and today.
Out.
Yeah, hanging out.
That's about it. So that's not a great sign. So where do they stand now on the interior of the defensive line?
I think a little thin. I think that he's a very, when you start talking about players, that the ones you can't, afford to lose, he's right there near the top. I'm not saying he's the top, but he's somewhere, in the top 5 as far as importance to this football team, and I think where you want to be, because he's that big presence. That he's not just a big presence run stuffer. He can be the run stuffer, but he also pushes the pocket as a pass rusher. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when you go to, remember this package we were just talking about with Darius Williams, which is the most prevalent package that you have, okay, which is 3 corners. You have different nickel groupings, okay? You have a nickel grouping if it's 3rd and, let's say, 15. Now you're talking about who's making up your front 4. Well, in 3rd and 12 plus, it might be Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, Fred Smoot, Kayvon Chazon. Okay, well, if you get to 3rd and 4, you want to get some beef in there on one of those guys and maybe 2 of those guys. So you might put Fatukasi in for one of the other, guys, smaller guys, just to give you some strength in the middle, So, in other words, you don't want Arden Key out there if an opponent can hand the ball off and gain 3 yards and get a first down.
Yep.
Okay, you want to have a Fatukasi in there. So, and him being hurt, if he can't go, who's your next guy? That's an interesting question. And Devon Hamilton is there, but Devon Hamilton has a lot to prove yet. And he looks like he is an absolute monster, but he's got to start playing like one. And then once you get past those 2 guys, Roy Robertson Harris is a guy, okay, but the depth is a little bit of a concern there, and you want to have Fatukasi healthy, obviously.
I haven't heard the name Fred Smoot in a long time.
He's awesome.
Well, that's DeJuan Smoot is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Fred Smoot is what you said.
Oh, did I say Fred?
Yeah, an old cornerback from Mississippi State.
Why did I say that?
I don't know. It just kind of slipped out. But he played in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah, so many guys, right?
Yeah.
But DeJuan Smoot, he's
yeah.
And I can tell you, DeJuan's had a marvelous camp. Marvelous. And they have asked him to play a little bit of a different role this year compared to what he was asked to do last year. Last year he was a stand-up outside linebacker, and he actually was playing ahead of Kayvon Chazon opposite of Josh Allen because Kayvon couldn't beat him out. And this year they've asked Smoot to play more of the down, what I call the strong side defensive end, and so that he could be on the field at the same time as Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen. And he has done a fantastic job with it. He's a relentless pass rusher. He can give you a lot of a really good inside pass rush, but he's also fairly stout. He's not Fatukasi stout, but DeJuan is stout enough that you can put him on the inside and feel like he's not going to get blown off the ball. And I think a little bit stouter than an Arden Key.
This is the Doug Pederson Show. J.P. Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Hey, you mentioned a name there, Kayvon Chazon. Obviously, first-round pick, and
everybody's disappointed in him.
And that, I think, is probably the reason why, right? They want a little more return on the investment as a fan base. But you kind of have to temper some expectations on that front now, and what can you use Kayvon Chazon to do the best now?
All right, well, let me start with this because I'm a little sensitive to this.
Oh, are you?
And in a certain way.
How?
And that Kayvon did not draft himself in the first round, much like I didn't draft myself in the first round when the Jet fans wanted to boo me, right? Mm-hmm. Okay? And so the Tyson Alualu, when everybody was saying, oh, that's a terrible pick. First of all, Tyson Alualu didn't pick himself. So you can't look at it from that standpoint. If you wanted to criticize the general manager or the guy who made the decision to draft Kayvon Chazon, criticize that guy, okay? Don't criticize the player because he's not drafting himself. And if you look at K'Lavon Chaisson, if you say, well, guess what? Maybe they drafted him, and you looked at it from the mindset of, well, let's say he's a third-round pick. You feel pretty doggone good about where he's at if he was drafted in the third round. So you have to change your mindset on how you look at K'Lavon Chaisson. He's a player that has a role that he's going to fill very well for the Jaguars. He's a more athletic guy than Trayvon. When I say more athletic, he moves better than in open space than a Trayvon or maybe a Josh Allen. He's a guy that can give you excellent special teams reps because he's got the speed to him. He's got the maneuverability and athleticism. So everybody just needs to kind of back off of the criticizing K'Lavon Chaisson a little bit and just allow him to help this football team, because I think he can help this football team in a specific role. And that role is special teams and as a backup. But and people say, well, then he can't afford to pay him first-round money. Look, the reality is the first-round pick monies that you're paying these guys, if you compare that to a veteran player, that's not that expensive. The majority of the money on K'Lavon was signing bonus. That's already been paid.
Yeah.
It would be hard to find a player to take the role that you have for him at a cheaper value than what he's getting paid. So I like him. And I think that he has probably a little bit of a humble pie dose, because he hasn't been the starter and maybe he needs to continue to get some. But I think he can help this football team in the role that he's going to be asked to do.
Let's come back. More on the right tackle position. Up for grabs still. Or is it?
It's over.
You think it's over?
It's over.
We'll get the result then, apparently, when we come back.
It's over.
Jeff Lageman is calling it. Not all precincts are in, but enough apparently to call this race for Jeff Lageman. We'll get the result of that when we come back. It's the Doug Pederson Show from Flowery Branch, Georgia on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Hold on. You want me to tell them about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea in just 30 seconds? This is impossible. Hey, I'm Billy from Twisted Tea. How can I explain that first sip of cold, smooth, real brewed tea? So good! And the extra kick you get from just the right amount of alcohol? The twist of lemon, Wait, what? We're almost out of time? Oh, shit. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Yeah, there's been, I think, a good ebb and flow of, this guy had a great day in this situation, this guy had a great day in this situation of, one day a guy does a great job in pass protection, another guy does a great job in run blocking, and you just kind of want to continue to see both of them grow and push each other along the way. And that's what we've seen so far. That's why, we're not in any rush to make a decision. We're not in any panic that we don't have the guy in the building. It's just the opportunity of really maximizing who's going to give us the best chance at that given week when we're going into this opponent, who we're playing, all that. And so credit to those guys for the way they've prepared and pushed each other and competed with one another.
That's offensive coordinator Press Taylor earlier this week here in Flowery Branch, Georgia, just outside the Atlanta Falcons facility. And welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show. More from Coach Pederson coming up as well. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. The Jaguars face the Atlanta Falcons in preseason week 3 this Saturday. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff time. I almost said first pitch. I almost reverted back to the old days. Kickoff time, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock on the network with countdown to kickoff. Imagine that. So, right tackle position. You say it's over. Not all precincts are in, but enough for you to call the race.
Well, look, I think Walker Little had a great opportunity because he played well in the Hall of Fame game, and then the performance got a little worse against Cleveland, and then he didn't have a great outing against Pittsburgh, and then the last couple days here against the Falcons have just been kind of it's a little different than okay. And today it looks like he has maybe an ankle injury or something that's bothering him a little bit. Juwan has gotten better. I give Juwan credit. Competition made him better, and since he came back from the injury, he has, I think, staked the claim as the starter because of his performance. Now what the reality is that the position battle is never officially over. It still will continue, and that if Juwan falters a little bit in the regular season, then, hey, look, they may insert Walker Little in there and say, let's give him a try. But I think for right now, Juwan has earned the starting job, and Walker is, here's the one thing I think that I love about Walker. I'll give you what I love and then what I don't love.
Okay.
I think he's extremely athletic, and the guy can get out and run in space, and he's got length and natural size. I mean, he's got everything you want. And some of his techniques are good, but then sometimes he gets knocked around. And look, if you get knocked around, that's fine, but you got to fight back. I mean, when I say you got to fight back, you got to fight back. You got to have what I call a little dog in you. And he's got to have more dog in him. Juwan, stout, strong, steady so far in practice. He still has the penalty issues that hang over him, one of the most penalized offensive linemen in the National Football League. So that's going to be a concern continuing to go forward. And I don't know if Walker faltered because now all of a sudden the competition got real and Juwan was coming back. But it's disappointing to me because I thought that Walker could take it, but I give credit to Juwan. He's gotten better, but now for him to keep it, he's got to continue to show that he's getting better because you got a new staff, you got a new offensive line coach, and there's a new standard that's set for his performance. And if he doesn't meet it, maybe he doesn't stay in the lineup.
Yeah, and he's got a vet guard on the right side next to those guys.
That makes
right?
them both. I mean, that makes them better. And
helps.
Here's the other thing. Juwan's, look, he's playing for a contract, man. I mean, look,
sure.
Reality is that great opportunity. If you take advantage of it and play well and consistent the entire year, you may get a big contract, from this football team or some other football team. If you lose your starting job before the season starts, you're not going to have an opportunity at doing that. So there was a lot at stake for Juwan. I think he rose to the occasion and he's played well. And Walker's still gotta get better.
All right. The results are in according to Lageman, and Juwan Taylor, he feels,
I think he's a starter,
is the right tackle.
And
they have it.
If he's the starter,
do you think they should play then on Saturday? Or is there still something you need to see, depending on how Walker Little's
I think
ankle
they should
or
play.
whatever
I think
is?
they should play a little bit, and that's if Walker Little's ankle is okay.
Yeah.
But I think they should both play a little bit to just allow that. I mean, you don't want to close the door completely, but I mean it's almost closed, JP. And I think here's the other thing that you look at it from a positive standpoint. Again, now that Juwan has played pretty well, and if he's the starter, now Walker Little can start getting reps on the left side and his right side and be your swing tackle. Before, if your mindset, you're thinking if Walker Little wins the right tackle battle, then Juwan continues to be right tackle, and Juwan's not a left or a right tackle. He's a right tackle. So if you had an injury to Cam Robinson, you would have moved Walker Little to left tackle and then inserted Juwan Taylor in at right tackle. So from one positive standpoint, now you have 2 starters, and then you have one guy who can play both, because I believe Walker can play left and right tackle.
We'll come back in a moment. We'll hear from head coach Doug Pederson on kickers, or a kicker, a new addition for the Jaguars this week, who kicked today. In fact,
he's really good too.
Oh, yeah?
Really good.
We'll find out how good when we come back. It's the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Ready, set, go. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Ford dealer. Get going in a new Ford SUV or truck. Inventory is arriving daily, so get ready for the best offers of the summer on in-stock Ford vehicles. Or go custom order a 2023 Ford and lock in low financing and get big cash back. You've waited for these deals, and the wait is over. Ready, set, go to the Labor Day sales event, now through September 5th. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
It's impressive, that part of it you like, and obviously the consistency is what you look for in kickers, and there'll be a good opportunity for them, and then for us just to keep going through the process. We still got a little bit of time here before kicks mean something, but it'll be a good opportunity for them.
That's head coach Doug Pederson earlier this week discussing the kicker James McCourt. Claimed off waivers from the Chargers. And welcome back. It's the Doug Pederson Show. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. We're in Flowery Branch, Georgia, home of the Atlanta Falcons. And the last 2 days, the Jags and the Falcons have practiced against each other ahead of this preseason Week 3 game coming up Saturday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And it could be the Jags' preseason debut of James McCourt. He had some kicks today. And, Logs, how about this? If he makes the roster and kicks on opening weekend, he'd be the first Irish-born NFL player since,
I have no idea,
1985. Neil O'Donoghue with the St. Louis Cardinals. That was the last year of his career. There has not been an Irish-born player in the league since then. He could break that 37-year streak.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
How about that?
By the way, he was outstanding today. I don't think he missed a kick today. Was it 8 for 8?
8 for 8, we're told.
And the last 2 kicks were, I think one was like 57, 58, or I think somewhere in maybe, or at least 55.
Pretty good.
Somewhere in that range. So, I mean, it was impressive. And he's who he looks like a little bit from a distance?
Who?
Gardner Minshew.
Oh, he's got a mustache and the whole deal, hair?
Well, he's just, that, and then short, stocky kind of build, And I was first like, that Gardner Minshew. But anyway.
So you're saying Minshew looks like a kicker is what you're saying, too?
He doesn't look like a quarterback.
Okay.
He never looked like a quarterback. The good thing is with the Jaguars kicking situation, and a lot of people say, well, what can be good about the Jaguars kicking situation? They don't have one. Well, once you find one, you have a center and a holder that are, I think, two of the best in the league. Logan Cook, I remember talking to Joe DiCamillo, says, I'm watching a wall of rain out there on the field. Hopefully that sprinkler's not rain coming at us.
It's blue sky.
Okay, good.
We're in good shape.
Good, just wanted to make sure. But Joe DiCamillo's always told me that Logan Cook was one of the best holders that he had ever been around.
What is that? How do you determine that? Like, what makes a good holder besides not fumbling it?
Smooth, consistent, effortless, always has the ball exactly where it needs to be, because if you're a kicker, if the ball ends up just a fraction of an inch away from where the kicker is expecting it, then the kick can go awry. So holder is very important, obviously, and Matisic is a very dependable, consistent snapper. So whichever and whoever wins the kicking job, because I think it's still to be determined, whoever wins that is not going to have a rough adjustment period, because the mechanics of the operation from snapper to holder are really good. Now you just need to find the final step of that, which is the most important, which is the kicker.
They asked Doug Pederson earlier this week, the media did, hey, well, are you concerned about that? Like, how do you might not have a right
hell
kicker.
Yeah, he's concerned.
Well, he also said this is not his first rodeo with having to try out kickers. In 2017, week 1, they tried out 6 kickers. And the one who won the job is still the Eagles kicker today. They won the Super Bowl, and the rest is history.
Yeah, but still, it's cause for concern.
Not ideal.
And, you want to make sure that you kind of present the cool, calm, and no problem. And the reality is that he's not freaking out about it. But there's absolutely concern, because if you don't have a position settled, prior to your last preseason game, that's a concern, and it's in a very important position. Kicker, by the way. Game-winning kickers can win you a lot of games, JP. Bet you didn't know that.
Or they could lose you some games.
That's exactly right.
Let's come back in a moment. We'll hear a little bit more about Devin Lloyd. We'll actually hear from Devin himself. He's back on the practice field this week. Great news for the Jaguars rookie. And this is the Doug Pederson Show from Flowery Branch, Georgia on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Reconnect with the best version of you at Amara Med Spa, Northeast Florida's premier luxury medical spa, located in Ponte Vedra, Town Center, Avondale, St. Augustine, and Fernandina. With the most advanced injectors, estheticians, and technology, Amara Med Spa is redefining beauty, offering services such as Botox and filler, M-Sculpt Neo, painless laser hair removal, and advanced skincare treatments. Visit theamaramedspa.com and book a complimentary consultation today.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm just building it back up. Slowly they're trying to ease me into the practices and limiting my reps, but it feels really good. It's strong. It's building its strength back up. It's really sore right now as expected, but I'll be ready to go week 1.
That's Devon Lloyd with Ashlyn Sullivan after yesterday's practice. And welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. We're in Flowery Branch, Georgia, just outside the Atlanta Falcons facility. And Devon Lloyd back to practice full this week. That's good news. That was after yesterday's practice where the soreness, he mentioned it there, of course, that he was a little sore. But he's back out there today. That's a good sign. And it sounds like there are plans to have him play Saturday here in Atlanta.
Well, it would be good for him to get some reps under his belt prior to going into the opener completely cold, and the more he can get, the better. But you want to just make sure that you're not doing too much with the hamstring. But as he said, it seems to be fine, and that's good. He's a difference maker. There's no doubt about that. He's a player that I was very excited about. Obviously, he's a first-round pick. And when you watch the film on him in college, he's a guy that fills every statistical category that there is, on top of just how athletic he is. You know, and the NFL has become a space game. When I say a space game, it's nickel packages, it's three wide receivers, and linebackers need to run, and they have to be versatile. And Devon can run well. He's versatile. He can blitz. He can cover. He can sack the quarterback, pass rush. I mean, so the sooner you get him back out there, the better. And the first step for him, obviously, is going to be getting some game action. And then after that point, you're going to have to kind of see where he's at. Does he have and even though he's been, taking mental reps and walkthroughs and all that stuff, it's not the same as taking things at speed. And so how much confidence will the coaching staff have in him once they go to Washington? Will they say, well, hey, look, Chad Muma's had a lot of snaps, and Shaq Quarterman has had a lot of snaps. We trust them a little bit more. Let's wait and see where he's going to be at. Or do you say, let's get Devon Lloyd ready for a package of defenses, and maybe it's only nickel, and let him focus in on just that to where he doesn't have to worry about other defenses. And so by giving him a smaller package, you allow him to really dial in on some of the things that he can focus on and not have to be maybe over inundated, I guess you could say, with having the complete package and the expectation for him to be able to handle all of it.
I mean, it does feel like, though, he's got his head on straight and can understand and handle pretty much anything thrown at him, right?
I mean, this guy's got a great head on his shoulders. Yeah. There's never been a debate about that with Devon Lloyd. That's always been one of the positives.
Like, he was asking for the playbook the night of the draft.
Well, yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Hard-working. Yeah. I mean, he's everything you want. Leader, all those things. But, leader can't come until you perform and practice. And so that part of it has kind of been put on the shelf for Devon Lloyd because he hasn't been out there. And soon he'll get out there, and then he can start to earn all that stuff. But in the meantime, he's got to worry about what his job is and executing his job with the limited number of reps and snaps that he's had.
Let's come back in a moment, Logs. We're going to, play a game live. How about that? We're going to pick players to watch Saturday.
Sure.
And there are no starters playing. So we're going to have to dig deep.
I'll give you one that a lot of people are probably going to be, well, really?
Okay. All right.
Skill position guy, too.
Oh, that's what we call in the business a tease. This is the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ready, set, go. It's the Labor Day sales event at your local Ford dealer. Get going in a new Ford SUV or truck. Inventory is arriving daily, so get ready for the best offers of the summer on in-stock Ford vehicles. Or go custom order a 2023 Ford and lock in low financing and get big cash back. You've waited for these deals, and the wait is over. Ready, set, go to the Labor Day sales event, now through September 5th. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we believe everyone needs a little getaway. That's why we put a little sunshine into our fresh smoothies, wraps, and flatbreads. Can you feel it? You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
You're beyond busy. Between work and the kids, the dogs and the cat, let us help. With Publix Delivery powered by Instacart, you'll get the items you need from the store you know. Just shop online, select the time you'd like your order delivered, and grocery shopping is done, giving you more time to take care of everything else.
Publix Delivery, powered by Instacart. Visit Publix.com/delivery to shop now. That's Publix.com/delivery. Item prices vary from in-store prices. Service fees may apply. Available in select zip codes. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit VyStarCU.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
Welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman from Flowery Branch, Georgia, just outside the Atlanta Falcons practice facility and headquarters. Doug Pederson not with us live this week. We heard a lot from the head coach the last few days here in Flowery Branch today and then the day before the trip. Those press conferences available on Jaguars.com as well. You can check those out. Plenty coming up ahead of this game against the Falcons. And, you know, we've mentioned it, Logs, the starters likely won't go, and Doug Pederson said they wouldn't go, so they're not going to go. Maybe a couple instances, the right tackle position is still a little bit up in the air, and then Devin Lloyd, we just talked about, the Jaguars linebacker, could get some time.
Right.
So this is a depth game. This is a game for players that are on the roster bubble to make a final impression. If it's not here, it's somewhere else. So, you know, who are some of these guys that you really need to watch for or listen for if you're on radio in this game Saturday in Atlanta, because they're digging deep down the depth chart now?
Well, and one player I think it's going to be real curious to see how much he plays, what he does, is Laviska Shenault.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is that he hasn't shown very well yet.
He was hurt a little bit. He's been off to the side in training camp a couple weeks, right?
Right, but at some point you need to show your wares. And when you have a new staff, new coaches, you have to be able to show them what you can do so that they can trust it. If they can't trust it, then what are they basing it off of? Look, if you've had great film in the past, maybe there's a little bit of trust built in from the film. But the reality is that Laviska has had some issues in the past with mental errors. His performance has just been okay, and this year he has been sidelined a little bit, but then unproductive. So the question mark is, does he make this football team? Well, JP, if you're a coach, what are you trusting to say that he needs to make this football team?
Yeah, what kind of role has he shown?
Remember we talked about roles and how you make a role on a 53-man roster. Tell me a role that the Laviska Shenault could fill right now on your 53-man roster.
I mean, he's not going to go start at wide receiver.
No, you got them, right?
Right. You know, the running back situation, I know he lined up back there a couple times in the past and had some success, but it wasn't like over the top.
Okay.
He tried out punt returning this camp. That hasn't gone very well.
Didn't look very fast, right?
No.
Didn't handle the ball at punt.
The ball
you can't trust him there because he didn't catch the ball clean.
So
kick return, he didn't look very fast.
We're running low on things.
Okay, so
can you trust him to consistently get open?
Well, here's the other thing. Can he be a four-core special teamer? Okay, Laquan Treadwell is a four-core special teams player. He'll play kickoff, kickoff return, punt return. Can Laviska do that?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I mean, so that begs the question, does he make this football team? And I don't know. Right now I haven't seen a role that he's cut out for himself to make this football team. And look, I know that there was a lot of positive things said when the coaching staff first took over, but that always happens. You always speak glowingly about players. And here's the other thing: the role of wide receiver, running back, H-back, that's this morphed X factor guy. Okay, if you've had some mental busts in the past, okay, if you put a lot on his plate, can that be a bigger problem when you're asking a player to understand more?
Yeah.
And here's the other thing: Jamal Agnew, the coaches have seen him do it, and now they're trusting him. And so Jamal's kind of filling a little bit of that role that Laviska was kind of expected maybe to fulfill earlier. So I think that that's going to be, first of all, interesting to watch him in the game, what he does and what they ask him to do in the game. Mm-hmm. And then when cut day comes, does he make this team? Is he traded? Is somebody else interested? Something to watch, I'll tell you that.
Logs, it's hard to believe, though, that a guy that is the size of Fred Taylor when he came out as a rookie, that's what Fred told me one time, the exact height and weight.
That's about right.
Can't find a place on an offense in the NFL. He's such a powerful, big body, physical guy.
Right.
How can you not find a spot for him? Or how can he not find a spot for himself?
It's got to be earned.
Yeah.
It's got to be earned. And you can, like I said, you can base a lot on the previous film. But some of that previous film also shows some of the mental errors that he's had in the past. Mm-hmm. So this is an interesting watch. I'll give you a couple other names that I'm looking forward to watching. The newly acquired Cole Van Lanen.
The guard,
He's wearing number 61 for people. He's been at right guard. I think he's a guy, and look, he was a 6th-round pick last year with Green Bay. The Jaguars gave up a reported 7th to get him. When you give up a 7th, he's going to make your roster. And depth at guard has been a little bit of a concern. I think that this guy, let's watch him and let's see how he plays. Ben Barch is, Brandon Sheriff is the right guard.
Yes.
Okay, and that ain't changing this year.
For a few years.
Is your left guard, Ben Barch, are you happy with him? Something to watch. Okay, Ben's had some issues with his feet sometimes, so something to watch there. And could this young man that they acquired in the trade in the second year, Cole Van Lanen, can he be a guy that maybe could play left? I think he can. He was a left tackle in college at Wisconsin, so why couldn't he play left guard? You'd think it would be a little bit more natural. So a couple guys to watch on offense. The backup quarterback situation is obviously something to watch because of C.J. Beathard's health. And Jake Luton, and then the young guy E.J. Perry. How are they going to do? But other than that, I mean, that's a couple of the big ones.
And I talked today after practice to Gregory Jr., a draft pick corner this year from Ouachita Baptist, and it's Ouachita. He told me Ouachita.
Okay,
Ouachita
he would know better than me and you.
I would think. Either way, his mindset is still trying to make this team, even as a 6th-round draft pick, and. This game is a big game for him. No,
he's not a lock as a 6th-round pick.
He understands that, and he understands the camp he's had and what he needs to do in this game. Another guy that has had a pretty good camp.
And he came from a really small school.
Tiny.
That's a small school. And Monteric Brown, who is the other draft pick corner, came from Arkansas. He's a 7th-round pick. And then the one guy that was undrafted, which is Benji Franklin. I mean, look, when you're a 6th-round pick, a 7th-round pick, and an undrafted guy, you're all on the same footing. What I mean by that is that there's no preference over one guy over another just because he has higher draft stats. Well, once you get in the 6th, 7th round and undrafteds, they're all kind of the same.
Can you play?
Can you play? And that's those 3 guys are all going to be fighting for roster spots, whether it be, again, on this team or somebody else's team or the Jaguars practice squad or a short list of some other team or a practice squad of another team. So something that they're definitely going to have to watch. Now, defensively, I'm looking forward to watching Caleb Chazon.
Sure.
I want to continue to watch him. You know he's going to play. Deshaun Dixon, a young player that came from Norfolk State, even though he's from Nebraska. How did he end up in Virginia? I don't know. I asked him that last night. He goes, well, they wanted to give me a scholarship. Well, that helps.
That does.
And he's big, and I think he's a guy that's got some potential for practice squad. But I want to see him and how he moves. I mean, he's been a little bit limited athletically, but he's a big, powerful guy.
We'll come back in a moment. Our final thoughts ahead of this Preseason Week 3 game coming up Saturday in Atlanta, the Jaguars and the Falcons. And from Flowery Branch, Georgia, this is the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Your pet means the world to you, so Pet Paradise created a slice of paradise just for them. Pet Paradise is your complete pet health care destination with resort-style day camp, overnight boarding, professional grooming, and compassionate veterinary care from New Day, all located under one roof. Pet Paradise has over 50 locations open or under development to serve pet fanatics like you nationwide. Book today at petparadise.com, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
With the first pick in the 2022 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Duck Duck Rooter, the best plumbing and septic company in Florida.
Congratulations, Duck Duck Rooter. So tell us, how does it feel to be picked number one?
Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services is excited to announce we're a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help tackling any type of plumbing or septic issue, call our team of first-round draft picks for the win. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
Crown Royal's That Deserves a Crown program recognizes local heroes for making a positive impact in the community. The Jaguars and Crown Royal are giving back to those who served this season, celebrating these individuals with the ultimate VIP Jaguars home game experience. Nominate someone who deserves a crown today at jaguars.com/Crown Royal promotion. Please drink responsibly.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates Frequent Shopper Clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Welcome back. Final moments of the Doug Pederson Show. J.P. Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. The Jaguars and the Atlanta Falcons coming up Saturday at 3 o'clock at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Beautiful place in downtown Atlanta. And we'll have countdown to kick off on the network here at 2 o'clock, getting you ready for that one. And I'm excited for this. Some final roster spots.
Well, and there's another team playing, and there's some storylines there as well. You know, last week we had the Pittsburgh Steelers and their search for their next quarterback post-Ben Roethlisberger. Well, this Atlanta team is now looking for their quarterback. It's expected to be Marcus Mariota, post-Matt Ryan. But how about Desmond Ridder? A young drafted quarterback that we got a chance to see firsthand. He does some good things, and their coach said he's coaching them hard because they believe that he can take the hard coaching and get a lot better. But this Falcons team, I will tell you from watching them for 2 days, they got a longer ways to go than the Jaguars. I mean, really do. They really, from a personnel standpoint, a talent standpoint. Terry Fontenot's the general manager, and then their coach Arthur Smith. I mean, they've got a lot of work to do yet here in Atlanta.
Yeah, they do have a tight end though, and that guy is a monster.
He's really good.
Kyle Pitts. Wow.
And they got a wide receiver draft pick, pretty high. That's going to be fun to watch. But man, Pitts, the tight end. First of all, he is rocking some big sideburns. sideburns.
I mean,
it's a kind of a beard, but the sideburns are so big. It looks. I mean, it's like 1970-ish. I mean, it looks cool.
He walks into the huddle, and he's the biggest guy in the huddle.
Who's the guy that we saw last week, Pittsburgh, the wide receiver from Notre Dame? The big wide receiver for Pittsburgh Steelers, Notre Dame. You're so bad, JP.
Yeah,
Come on.
I've already put that in the past. We're moving forward. We're
I know, but
future-focused, Logs.
And I'm gonna find out. Okay, it's
We're future-focused.
Chase Claypool. Thank you.
Yes.
For no help.
Tip of my tongue.
But Chase Claypool is also one of those freaks of nature. I mean, he's just a monster of a man, and Claypool's probably just as big as Kyle Pitts. But I mean, this guy's a tight end.
Yeah.
And some of the plays that he was making out here this week, it's like, wow.
Well, the Jaguars and the Falcons coming up. Thanks to our entire crew here in Flowery Branch. Dave DeCandis, John Ozier, Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato, everybody back in Jacksonville, Linda Fortunato, Max Hockman, and for Jeff Lageman, I'm J.P. Shadrick. We will catch you next time. Hope you'll join us for Countdown to Kickoff, 2 o'clock Saturday here on the network, ahead of the 3 o'clock kickoff time for the Jaguars and the Falcons. This has been the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.